They're always sorry, Charles, and there's always a speech, and nobody cares.
There's still hope. Don't do this.
They're right to fear me.
I've seen evil. And I'm looking at it now.
This movie starts off with a space mission, and it's fantastic. The visuals are great, the music is great because it's by Hans Zimmer. The only thing that disappoints me about this opening space mission scene is the fact that what happened to the suits at the end of Apocalypse? Why do they have the suits from First Class? But the sequence is cool, and I like it. James McAvoy plays Professor Xavier, and Professor Xavier is an interesting character in this movie because if you watch the past X-Men movies, you see how Professor Xavier is all about mutant equality, blending in with the human race. Now in Dark Phoenix, the mutants are accepted amongst the human race, and Xavier even has a direct telephone line to connect to the President of the United States. So the X-Men and mutants are pretty much being glorified, which is an interesting setup in this movie, but it doesn't feel like it has enough depth. This movie should have been longer and stretched out how the public actually perceives mutants. It's just glossed over in a couple of moments where, okay, you have a line to the president. Oh yeah, here's the perception of mutants, and now Jean Grey does something horrible, and now the military is like, oh, we need to arrest mutants. It's glossed over. It goes by too fast. It doesn't feel like it has enough depth. I wanted more from this aspect of the movie that I just didn't get. Jessica Chastain's a fantastic actor. She has some good moments here where she kills people. She twists people's chest, and it was very disturbing to watch in the movie. It made me grip my chest of how disturbing it was. But other than that, Jessica Chastain's character in here is bland, it's boring, it's underdeveloped. It's just some generic plot where we have these aliens here. They want to resurrect their race. They have to use Jean Grey because she has the cosmic force inside of her, and some generic fight at the end that's boring, and that's it. Cyclops in this movie, who was played by Ty Sheridan, this guy, he's just there. He feels like he's Edward from Twilight. He's like, you would come back to me. I thought you would come back to me. You said you'd come back to me. You know, and they illustrate this at the beginning of the movie, but I don't feel like the relationship is super strong here. I don't feel the connection between these two because he's a whiny crybaby and she is stronger than him. So what does Jean Grey see in this guy? You know, because he worships her, I guess. I don't know. But this movie to me didn't present any illustration that had my interest. I wasn't interested in this movie. I wasn't interested in these characters because there was progression, but it was weak storytelling, I feel. I understood what was happening and it made sense and it was straightforward, but I didn't get any depth of emotion with these characters. It was just scratching the surface. Michael Fassbender, who plays Magneto here, gives a fantastic performance as always. I love Magneto's introduction scene, and the coolest moment in this movie with Magneto is when Jean Grey crushes his helmet, the music kicks in. Mwah, it's fucking awesome. But Magneto doesn't need to be in this movie. We have an interesting scene between Beast and Xavier is just full-on asshole here. James McAvoy, fantastic actor, and he's just fucking drinking in front of Beast, who was played by Nicholas Hoult. Nicholas Hoult gave a fucking Oscar-worthy performance in this scene. Nicholas Hoult, man, he's like, Xavier, Raven's dead, and he's crying, and Xavier just seems like he doesn't give a shit. He's just pouring a drink, and it seems like he's mocking Beast, where he's just like, yeah, I remember Raven, you know, she came in here, and all. It's like maybe he's trying to have a tender moment with Beast where he's, you know, all of these memories that I shared with her, now I'm going to share them with you. You know, that's what you do during memorial services. You know, you share the past moments with everybody so we can all experience it together and feel how you felt during that. But it seems like Xavier's just being a dick about it. He's pouring a drink and he doesn't even seem sad. He's not crying. It's odd. Like the direction, like he's just being a complete jerk, I felt. Then Nicholas Hoult goes to Magneto, and then he says Raven's dead, and then this sets Magneto off. So then we have our square off amongst the villains and the heroes. And Beast is on Magneto's side now, and then Magneto's driven to kill. And it's frustrating too because Magneto keeps doing this in all of the movies. He's too wishy-washy. He's just like, oh, I'm a bad guy. I'm gonna kill thousands of people. Oh, now I'm a good guy. Now I'm gonna save the world. And it's like, dude, just kill this character. He should have died because that helmet squishing scene was amazing. And then another amazing scene within that moment was when Xavier came into the room and then Jean lifted him up. He's walking up the stairs. It was grotesque. Like his ankles were flapping around. It was kind of goofy, but it was disturbing for me to watch. There's this random fight that I don't care about from these characters who are from Magneto's Utopia that didn't get any development. They're just here as background characters. Then they're on this train and the aliens show up. And then all of a sudden, Magneto and Beast, who are on this vengeful quest, have a change of heart just from one speech by Cyclops, a kid they don't know, and trying to protect a woman that Magneto doesn't even know. And so I wanted more depth with this. It was just surface level stuff. It's just, here we go from point A to point B. And it's this smooth progression. But it's frustrating because this movie's trying to be emotionally driven, but I feel like it's over the top with these scenes of, like, Magneto is driven because Jean Grey killed Raven, his true love, his best friend, whatever. And I didn't feel it. It wasn't impactful enough to me. It's just scratching the surface. It's like, oh, Raven's dead. Okay, now I'm going to kill her. And all of a sudden, oh, now I'm going to be her friend and try to protect her. Jean Grey sacrifices herself, blows up this alien, and they both die. But the spirit of this cosmic force known as the Phoenix still flies in our solar system. And then the movie ends with Xavier changing the name of the school from Xavier's School for the Gifted to Jean Grey's School for the Gifted. Then Magneto shows up at the end to Xavier and says,
Fancy a game?
my verdict for this movie is it's okay. It's an okay movie. It has an interesting story with Xavier and the mutants being perceived a certain way in the public eye, and Xavier has his opinion about the way things are and the way things should be, where Raven has a difference of opinion and they have a conflict. And I like that stuff in my X-Men movies. The good stuff I can say about this movie is that the music is great, actors performing at a exceptional level. There are some intense moments in here with Magneto's helmet. Xavier walking up the stairs was a great scene. The opening space mission was interesting. The way the story was going at the beginning, how it set all of that stuff up with politics was interesting, but it just scratched the surface by the end. It felt bland and generic. The villain in here by Jessica Chastain, she's a fantastic actor, but I felt like she was given zero material here, except you're an alien, convince Jean Grey that she needs to destroy the world. So there are these little moments sprinkled in here that give me excitement and get my blood boiling. But for a majority of this movie, I'm bored. I'm tired. I'm yawning. Because I don't care about any of this. It's just surface level stuff. It's not getting deep. It's just, here's A, B, and C. Keep the story going. And then there are these intense moments that are sprinkled throughout. But it's so far and few in between that I would not watch this movie just for those moments. If I want to see those moments of Magneto's head getting crushed and Xavier walking up the stairs, I'd watch it on YouTube. And that's all I have to say. So as always, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next time.